Hey, we're back again.
Hi, David.
Now, we were discussing the Merchant Marines, and you mentioned, different things about the Second World War service, but in the Merchant Marines, you had many different jobs aboard ship. Can you detail some of the jobs that you had?
Oh, I had jobs as an able-bodied seaman. I able-bodied seaman on the ship, and I was a quartermaster on a missile tracker. And I worked in the engine room for a while, and that's it.
Did you steer the ship?
So that was sure, of course. All able seamen have to steer the ship.
Wow, that must be a big
And
responsibility.
on the missile tracker, of course, I was quartermaster on there. That's very, very important. We were tracking missiles sent down from Camp Cook, California, which was Vandenberg Air Force Base at the time. And we would be out there by Kwajalein, and when the missiles came in, we would track them, see where they landed in the lagoon or outside the lagoon. Interesting job. And and of course, I was quartermaster on other ships too.
Okay. What about what kind of other jobs did you have? Like, did you have to climb the mast?
Oh, I always always able seamen have to climb the mast. That's part of the job. And a lot of seamen, good seamen who I know knew more about this working on a ship than I did, but they had this phobia. They couldn't climb height. They were scared of heights. They had their able-bodied seaman endorsement, but they never used it because they knew they would have to climb the mast on the ship, and they couldn't do it.
Oh,
And of course, they couldn't go. They couldn't sail as a able seaman because they would require that to climb the mast. Okay,
are there any interesting ghost stories or stories that you can
ghost stories.
tell us from your days aboard ship?
Ghost stories. Well, I think one time I was on a bridge of a ship. Can't remember the name of it. I don't think it's very important, but I remember the captain of the ship was looking out, and we were in a big storm, and the captain was looking out the porthole in the front with the mate on duty, and I was steering, and a dark shadow came up and touched the captain on the shoulder and pointed with his left hand left, and the captain went left. And luckily we did because we just missed another ship coming the other way. We would have been goners. You can take that for what it's worth.
Okay.
True story.
Did you ever have any run-ins with pirates?
Pirates, yeah, we had pirates up in the Southeast Asia when we were running over to Vietnam. Very, very dangerous leaving port there. The pirate ships were out there all the time chasing chasing you. But we never really had too much problems. But we had to be very careful.
And what about your ship ever run aground?
Ah, now you're talking business. Sure, the ship ran aground on the other side of the Suez Canal. And also, I was on a ship that caught on fire, the San Jose. We caught on fire leaving Vietnam, and we had to abandon ship. And I still have a few things in my garage, still smoking from that fire. I used to have a life preserver from that ship. We had to abandon ship, and a Navy destroyer picked us up. And it was in a very bad typhoon that's happened, and we made it out okay. The captain remained on board with a few crew members, and the ship eventually fire was put out, and the ship was pulled into Guam Harbor, and that was the end of her.
Oh. Now, is it true that merchant marines, for the most part, did quite a bit of drinking?
Yeah, I was 17 years old when I first went to sea, and I remember my first encounter with the alcohol. Someone drinking. Man's name was Travis, and he was an able seaman, and I was an ordinary seaman. And one time I came back into the room after leaving port, and he was underneath the cot or the bunk, and he had the delirium tremors, and he was shaking all over. And he
Don't
was
they call that DT?
DTs. He was probably about 45 or 50, and that's the first. Oh yeah, but we all drank on the ship. I mean,
What was the drink of choice?
drinking straight beer.
And what brand beer did they drink?
Whatever brand they sold in the foreign country. I have beer labels from Hong Kong, Guam, not Hong Kong. I beg your pardon. I never went to Hong Kong. I went to Iran and Japan. I used to take this label off the beer bottles and save them. Couldn't afford to buy diamonds and jewels, so I settled on the cheap things. What's up?
Okay, great. So then you went to all these different countries, and where did you find that the native people like the Americans the most?
I guess that was over in England. They tolerated us over in England. They always said we love the Americans. They're a bit oversexed, overpaid, and of course they're over here.
What other after the Second World War? Were you not in Eastern Europe?
Eastern Europe. Well, after the Second World War was Eastern Europe. We went to Poland, but Poland at that time wasn't really. They didn't decide what to do with it, and we went there and delivered some cargo and clothes and things for the people. Yeah, you want to call that Eastern Europe at that time.
And what was Poland like then?
Poland was. I remember there was a large church in Gdynia, Poland, and I just curiosity. I didn't realize there was people in the church. I opened the door of the church, and the place was packed with people. And as soon as they saw me, everything stopped. They probably thought I was a Nazi or a Russian, but I closed the door, and left the area.
There were Russian, German tanks and equipment
Yeah,
still all over.
right. There was a graveyard of German equipment all over. I took a piece of a German vehicle and with the Nazi swastika on it, and I still have it as a souvenir.
You mentioned you were in a little bit of the Korean conflict, but you were in Vietnam as well. Is that correct?
Vietnam, right? Yeah, we used to deliver bombs to Vietnam. 900-pound bombs, and we went. We delivered food. Went up to Saigon. Yeah, I went to quite a few places in Vietnam. Saigon, Cameron Bay is two of them. Cape St. Jack, and a few other ports.
Oh.
Never had any trouble though with the Vietnamese. When we had a ship, I was on a ship. In fact, this was the San Jose I mentioned that caught on fire, and we had to abandon it. It was up in Saigon, and they were discharging some bombs on the San Jose. They didn't use Vietnamese to discharge the bombs because you can never tell whether the Vietnamese were for the United States and Vietnam or for the communists. So the South Koreans were the ones that discharged all the dangerous material.
Okay, that'll end this segment.